Guys, what is up? What is good? I've been away for about 5 months. How are you doing? Today, let's make some stuff. Let's create some stuff. You're going to see me working in multiple programs in Ableton. Then we're going to go to Blender. Then we're going to go to Final Cut Pro, where we're going to do some digital art stuff. You're going to see my process. You're going to have fun with me. We're going to create. Let's just jump right in. So here we are, starting off in the Ableton, recording it with OBS. So all right, we are in Ableton, and not gonna use wavetable today. We're actually gonna use drift. It's very nice. Default, it starts you off with a sine wave, and I'm selecting it to be on an oscillator, or on a sine wave. Oh, I'm rusty, I haven't talked in a while. I'm just going to turn off oscillator 2, turn off the noise oscillator, so we're just focused on oscillator 1 right now, which is playing a sine wave. Now I want a chord, right? And I don't really want to hold down chords on my keyboard or the keypad, so I'm like, well, let's use the MIDI chord device. What I'm changing right now, shape, that's probably the best, most important knob of drift. You should always be playing with that. See how it gave amazing results even when we just had a sine wave? So play around with that, possibly modulate that. Dropping on spectrum just so we can visualize things here, see what that's doing to our sound, to the harmonics. You can modulate that shape parameter with the LFO, but it doesn't move it. I mean, it moves it under the hood, so I would just, if you want to modulate that, just drop down an LFO and then modulate that part. I'm going over to the transpose right here, just seeing what it sounds like transposed down an octave, which of course is -12. That's down an octave. Just playing around, hitting notes. Changing things. Do I like the way this sounds? I want a chord, or multiple notes at the same time. So this is, you hit a note and then it plays the note, but it also plays with this chord device up 3 semitones. As you can see, up 7 semitones, which is a perfect fit. And I'm just playing around, seeing what sounds good. Plus 10, that is the minor 7. What sounds good. I kind of want something unusual sounding, and I end up going something very unusual sounding, but I'll save the surprise for later. 6, the most inharmonic interval, the tritone, also known as the devil's interval. Up 12, that's an octave. It sounds very dissonant, and that's kind of the point. I try to be how dissonant can we make it sound? But it still sounds good. Playing with the filter there, boosting up the resonance while I move the filter frequency cutoff. It's on a low pass filter, obviously. Playing with the shape, I'm ooh, I kind of like that. It almost has a resonator sound to it. Okay, now I'm putting an oscillator 2, which is, as you can see, an octave lower, so it's giving it some bass. Really beefing it up. Oh, looks like we got that bloody LFO. Shape. You just have to click map, and then you map it to anything that's mappable, which, as I've mentioned, is shape is a good one. Just a little bit. Now listen to it. Okay, that's a little too little. Let's give it more depth. is like the octave above the tritone in this example. So we have +6 plus 18 would be 6 plus 12, 18. So I'm trying to find something very sinister, very forbidden. Up plus 24 is obviously up 2 octaves. Realized I didn't really need the specky trim. Now we're going to record this in a clip, which is really just holding down one note. So when you hold down one note, we're only getting one note. But the chord device is adding all of those additional voices. And if you're not hearing all those additional voices, then you might not have the correct polyphony, which you should check in the drift settings. Holding it down for a long time, I could have just drawn it in, but, you know, I didn't. Gonna tidy it up, move it back to the beginning. Now I'm gonna freeze the track. And then I'm gonna flatten it or bounce it to audio. Flatten track. Because I don't need all that stuff. It's just optimizing for CPU, and for whatever reason it just like duplicates it. But I like to go into the warp mode and go to repitch, so then I can like shift it down and stuff very easily, especially, yeah, exactly. Just gonna tidy up the loop brace here. It's gonna be a lot deeper, a lot bassier because I time stretched it. Now listen to what it sounds like. Spectrum, because I wanted to see if it was too bassy, because obviously if it gets too sub-bassy you can't hear it. So I want to just make sure I knew where like the main frequencies were hitting. That's their 35 hertz, that lowest one. That's like the lowest you can hear. Some people don't. Actually 35 hertz, which I believe is a B note, that's like the fifth, you know, like a fifth string bass. That's like the fundamental of the lowest string on like a fifth string bass. Some notes, because why wouldn't you? Play around, you know what I'm saying? Okay, don't need this specky trim anymore. Let's tighten up the loop brace as it's called. Crop the sample if you wanted to get rid of that crap. And tightening the loop brace a little bit more. Maybe we can get a nice loop that doesn't sound like it's clicking over, which is kind of like the downside when you're playing with audio instead of like in the MIDI realm. Now that starts at like a perfect zero crossing, you know? And by the way, the reason why I wanted to flatten it down to audio is because it uses less CPU, so that's just kind of a hack if like your CPU is going a little bit crazy, especially if you know you don't need all these different like MIDI effects and synthesizers and audio effects and like a bunch of crap. So I was like, why don't we drop down some drums. So rather than like searching for drums, like let's just get something in, you know what I mean? Like, okay, let's get like a 909. That's a classic. You probably have heard of the 808. Well, there's also a 909, so now you know. basically my computer overheated and I couldn't record all these multiple things at once. That's why I see kernel task peeking there. So we're going to be moving on to Blender, and you may actually enjoy the Blender a lot more than the Ableton. Who knows? If you enjoyed the Ableton, stay around for the Blender. And yeah, it will be pretty cool. It's a scene that I was trying to make because I fell in love with a tarot card. I believe it's the Eight of Cups. I used to, if like a tarot card, I either saw it or it was pulled and it had a lot of significance of where I am in my life, I would, depending on how it looked, I'd be like, oh, could I recreate it? So I tried to recreate. Well, I didn't try to do. Well, I mean, of course I'm trying, but yeah. So here I am, getting ready to record. Recording in OBS now because it just records your computer audio like straight out the gate when you do screen record. So I used Tripo 3D. I tried to use the other one, Meshy. I don't know if you guys saw some of the other stuff, Meshy AI, using AI to generate. I mean, I make all my own 3D models, but when you need something, you know what I mean, like a person, you're not just gonna be like, oh, I'm a computer graphics, I can just make a 3D person. Like, you just don't do that. Like, you need to know anatomy, so you want to use a model. And because there is a human, I wanted like kind of like a medieval Renaissance guy, because, you know, when you look at tarot cards and shit, like, they just kind of look like that. And I was like, something tells me, and so this is what I got. Now, it looks like an idiot, right? But that's fine, because in the tarot card, we just see the back of him. So that's fine. That's all I needed. And I just wanted you to know that, like, that's what I used. Okay. That's what's good for Chunky. So here's my scene. Here's where I'm at. I've already worked on this, which is kind of what you do in the 3D space. Is you work on something, you save it, and then you open it back up. And now we're going to work on it. So this is in the rendered mode. And you get to sort of like see what it looks like. I've got the mountains, I've got the guy. You can see in the bottom right, that's the Eight of Cups. I think it's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of Cups. So this is what it looks like. These are all, and like when you see all this weird stuff, you're like, hey, it doesn't look all like perfect and pretty. Well, that's what you do in the computer graphics realm. You have to like adjust and account for things. Now, what I didn't like is if you see the tarot card in the bottom right, you can see him standing on that like terrace or whatever, that like terrain, and mine doesn't. So right now, this is what the world looks like, and I'm highlighting it because I want to move him. Oh, look at that. That's because there's an armature, there's bones in his hands, which makes, like, I posed him to make his right arm it was actually, his right arm was hanging, just like his left arm. This is like the invisible view, and because those bones are in the arm, I needed to like do that, but it still didn't work. That's why I'm in the upper right going and making sure that I select armature, because I have to move the armature as well as the 3D mesh of the human, the wand, which, yes, as you can see, he has a wand in his hand, and look at that, like, and like, so I'm moving it back, right? Nothing matters. Now he's out of the frame. So that box is like what the camera is going to show. So when I click render, it's going to render whatever is in that camera box. This is wireframe mode, because like in 3D, everything's made of like wireframes. So if that looks solid orange, it's not solid orange. Those are like teeny tiny like polygons in there, although you already know. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to like readjust the camera. Obviously, you can see my scene breaking down. So, like, that's a crazy thing is, like, not only would you have to know all of that shit, but, like, now you have to, this is what's called compositing. You're compositing the image. It's all screwed up. So I'm like, okay, how do I make this work? And I'm like, okay, maybe I can add a cube, and I can maybe use the cube as to use the cube as sort of like the foreground that he's going to be standing on. Because I wanted to use a plane and that didn't quite work. I needed more thickness. Now I'm just putting it at the bottom, so you'll see I'll end up transforming this. Very good. So getting back into the camera view, and I'm altering the size of that cube. I want it to like fill up the space, and then I want to start making it the terrain that he's going to stand on, which is going to be different than the terrain that you see in the distance. Because like when you do that kind of work in like computer graphics, you need to like separate things by layers. If they all have the same material, all have the same texture, it just doesn't look good. So right now looks kind of good. We're in like solid view mode. That's why everything has like a different color. Normally it would just all be white, because it's just in the mesh view. But like the reason why there's different colors is just to like help us separate things. So don't think like, oh, that thing's green, that thing's purple. So I just wanted to like select him. And I need to also select the armature, which are the bones in the arms that allowed me to pose his right arm at a 90-degree angle so we could get that, that nice wand in there. So I'm just trying to move everything together. And we're just zooming around our screen. Or the 3D viewport. Just doing some housekeeping of the... So we need to add geometry. This adds geometry to it, which means we can then do things to it. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. Just watch. We're adding geometry so we can deform it and make it look very, I don't know, look like a terrain of some sort. See, now it has all this geometry, all those vertices. You can only see them when you're in wireframe mode or when you're in edit mode, and if that doesn't make sense, because you don't do this stuff, don't even worry about it. I really liked this. Okay, we're in sculpt mode. When you see like the, when you see that little like blue circle, it's going to deform the mesh. See that? See that? A lot of people use sculpting in 3D computer graphics softwares. I just Command Z to delete it, or not delete it, but to undo it. People use sculpting normally to sculpt 3D characters for like video games and stuff, or maybe you're just like a 3D computer graphics artist that like part of your thing is like sculpting, well, you're like creating 3D characters, like you would use sculpting. That's what ZBrush is. You of course can do in Ableton. So I wanted to like deform it this way, but as you can see, it then exposes, you know, kind of my scene. So I'm trying to figure out like how to work around that, because obviously you can work around that. So I put it on subtract because I want this effect to deform it in like a downward area. See how now I'm going above, and I keep Command Zing it to undo it. So we'll just watch. A lot of these things, just like with the music stuff, just with like Ableton, it's just like experimenting. And if you are someone who knows like 3D computer graphics stuff, I love making like terrain and stuff, like mountains. And it's crazy because a lot of people don't use the sculpting brushes because they think that's for like doing like high detailed 3D human character meshes, but they don't realize that you can use those techniques in like other areas. So this looks good. See how like the illusion breaks down when you move around the scene? I had to learn that like that shit doesn't matter. I kind of wanted it to be always like, oh, you know, I create these things, but it's actually like a 3D environment. Then I realized that was just wasting my time. Like, if I'm trying to show you something like this square, you know, which is like what the camera sees, if I clicked rendered, it would render this. That's all that matters, you know, so you want your scene to kind of just like fit along with what you're going for. So now I want there to be like a drop off. So see how I'm going to pull it down. I want there to be a drop off. I don't care if the illusion breaks because I'm going to fix that later, of course. But like I want it to look like he's standing on this like cliffside, looking out, looking to the horizon, looking to a better life. Well, you know, not exactly a better life, but I guess what you would say the life that he's supposed to be living, because he's going on a journey. That's why by the way, you should just open up. I was gonna back in the day you'd say, oh, just Google 8 of Cups. No, don't Google. What are you, insane? Open up your favorite AI and say, tell me about the symbolism, tell me about the 8 of Cups, and it will tell you. Hopefully it will. Okay, so now we're going back in. This was like 2 days later. So like, see how I open up the project? This is what's saved. Now I'm working from it, right? All these things don't get made in an afternoon. So like, this was 2 days later. I was opening it up and I was like, oh, like, let's get back in. So I want to make things line up, and I realized that the part of this purple mesh that is so see how I'm moving it down? Now you think that looks cool, but like, I want to make, okay, see, that's more what I want. Like, I want that to hide behind. I want it to seem like there's a steep drop off, but I want enough to where I can put like a water plane there. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to scale the mesh up. Now you can scale it up on the x-axis, so you're always going to have the x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. I only want to scale it like vertically, so I'm scaling it on the z-axis. Me friend. And again, sometimes you'll just spin around the scene just to kind of see what it looks like, because you don't want to like stretch things too much if it makes it not look as good. So now I'm going back into sculpt mode, and let's see what we do in sculpt mode. Ah! Just to give you an idea, I'm using the snake hook tool. So I want to like pull it down that area a little bit because I don't want to see it popping through. I know it looks good right now, but trust me, when we go back into like the rendered view, it might break the illusion. That's why I wanted to pull it away. And I don't like that aspect. So I'm going to move it up because I don't want you to think it ends there. And again, it's going to look weird if we zoom out of this view, which is the render view, or the camera view. So like this square, of course, as I've mentioned, is what the camera sees. So when you click render, it will render what's in this square, and then that's what you would post to show your work if you were a digital artist. So now I'm moving the camera. I'm moving the camera up, camera down. You know, there's this little gap in the mountain or the ravine or whatever it's called, the canyon. I like that his face is right in the middle of it. Like he's right between the butt cheeks of the canyon. But like, for some reason, like, that just looks good. It's like eyesight. Like, it draws you in. Like, it zooms you into that area. The only reason why that changed color is because I changed the name in the, info grid box or whatever. So don't worry about that. We're in the solid view modes. Yeah, it's a good time to check your thermal throttling. I tells ya. I'm from the Midwest of the USA. And the Chicago-ish area. But the Midwest of the USA has a very weird accent. You can look at Chicago accent, Wisconsin, Minnesota accent. It even kind of sounds a little bit similar to like Canada, even like the Dakotas. There's this like interesting little accent that you'll hear. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, the Chicago Bears. Oh, I hear they have a very good season. Oh, put some bratwurst on the... Okay, so now we're in the render view mode, okay? I did shade smooth it. Now, in the background, you see what's called an HDRI. It's like a skybox in like video game terms. See it? It's providing valuable light, but we don't have to see it. You know what I mean? Meaning we don't have, like, it can still provide the light, but we don't have to see the background. We can make it like a, transparent PNG alpha mask image. But I'm not getting rid of it yet. I'm experimenting now with the lighting. So before we were experimenting more with the composition, we were experimenting more with the polygony. I don't know if that's what, like the polygons, right? But now we're experimenting more with like the lighting, right? So like there's all these different aspects. And we're playing around with that to see, like, I mean, honestly, just like with music, just like with Ableton, like, what feels good? What do I like? And when I play around with this background, it's not just distorting the background, it's actually also distorting the lighting. So, I mean, I don't intend for this to look all blue, but I like the mood that it gave. And so now I'm like, okay, well, here's, see that thing? It's because I'm moving him and I'm moving everything, but I'm not moving the armature that's locked in place. So that's why that like goofy stuff happens. So like what's so crazy is like all of these things, when you really play around in these realms and you ask yourself, well, if AI could just generate like 8 of cups, like some sort of like futuristic, like, you know, thing or whatever, why would I even screw around with learning? Well, it's because you want to create, you know what I mean? You want to, oh, look at how different turning the HDRI does for the scene. So you want to like, okay, what sort of like lighting do I want? Look, because it's like with the shadows and all that. And by the way, I don't mean for like the terrain he's standing on and the mountains, the canyon, and the background to all be the same color. That's just what they are right now because they don't have a material. I could add a material, I could make it a different color, I could add texture to it, but like you just can't do everything at once. Eventually, like you will be, because they'll probably have brain chips in your head. And you'll be like, what do you want to make today, sir? So now I'm making like the water plane. So this is going to be like the water, because come on, I mean, you gotta get that water going on up, won't you? And we're in solid mode. And, okay, where do I want the water? Where do you want the water? Maybe we'll settle on something, who knows? See, I don't like that because, like, we have to know that the water is below. He's on top of his own little vista, and the water is below. And that those beautiful pink mountains, which they're not pink. Yes, I know you guys know they're not pink. We're in solid view mode, right? Like, I don't want the illusion to break. That looks good. I'm down with that. And I'm selecting it. When he's standing, see how it's all like blocky? It looks like computer graphic-y. It's because it needs to be shade smoothed. Now I'm going to be adding the moon, because there needs to be a moon, and I'm like, how am I going to put this like frowning moon? Actually, no, I'm not adding moon. I have like a circle right now in the project. I'm gonna get rid of it. I thought I was gonna make some of the cups, and then I realized, yeah, I don't want to do that right now. I kind of want to keep working with the terrain. So why did I let you see that? Well, because that's what we're doing. When you like make these things, like you do things that maybe you realize you don't need to do, and you just keep moving forward. You oxen? I don't even know what the hell that means. And so here we are rotating around the scene. Do that because all that matters is what's in this square, right? So we got the moon. We need a little bit more geometry. I want it extra smooth. And now I want to make it look like how I think I want it to look like. So I'm going to adjust the location. I'm going to adjust the scale. I want it in that upper left. And that's what we are doing right now. And if it seems like, I don't know, I'm taking too long to adjust the moon, or I'm taking too long to adjust the material on the terrain that's close to us or far away from us, like that's what you'll just do. Like you have the ability to spend as much time as possible on every aspect of your piece of art, whatever that art is that you're making, whether it's a visual or whether it's more like musical in Ableton. And that's why you would decide to do that versus using AI to create music, to create an image, because you want to be involved with every single aspect. So I'm trying to create a material for the moon. I want it to have like a glow that just wraps around the edges. So now I'm getting into render mode so you can see what it looks like in rendered mode. So basically, if we clicked render, this is what it would look like virtually, not like maybe exactly. I'm trying to give you approximation so you can tweak these settings in real time. I'm making the water look like water. I'm using a bump map, if you've heard of a bump map. Sometimes also called a not a UV map, it's called a normal map. Normal map and bump maps are different, but whatever. So yeah, notice how it looks more watery. Now I want to get like a really nice material for the moon. That looks so like I'm adjusting the shininess, the glossiness, which it's called in the 3D computer graphics realm as the roughness, and the metallicness, because you don't want it to look like it's like some glowing marble in the sky. Like I kind of want to give the vibe that it's like some sort of a moon, whether it's like the actual moon or just some moon wherever the hell this dork is located, you know? By the way, I found out that like all of the AI 3D model mesh generators are like all paid nowadays. You can't even like have it generate free shit for you that you can like export and put into Blender, which is totally lame. Yeah, so I'm trying to get like the outline to be really good and adjust the settings to make it look normal. Like I don't like the way that looks. I don't like the way any of that stuff looked. It takes a while. Like you'll literally like spend like a half hour just adjusting that. So like you have to figure out, and it's the same damn thing with Ableton. You have to figure out like how much time do you want to delegate to these tasks. God, I hate to even say it. It's like if you were like a kid in high school and you had to take like standardized testing like SAT, ACT, you know, you don't want to spend like half of the test on one problem. Like you have to move on. You have to have like time management skills. So yeah. So I'm trying to put like a little bit of like, you know, if it was like a moon, which it is, or it's supposed to be, like some sort of like rocky texture to make it seem like it's the moon. And right now all these nodes are connecting to each other in ways that I wish they weren't. That's another thing you have to deal with. You can't just like work on the art. You have to like figure out what the hell is going on. Like, so that looks too inorganic, those like sharp 90-degree angles there. And now I'm like, oh shit, bro, where are we going with the thermal throttling going on? For some reason, it wasn't operating the way I wanted. This Euclidean is like what's called like a Voronoi mathematical texture, and it can provide like craters, you know, like craters on the moon. But for some reason, all the craters were very like square-like. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I was just clicking through like all of the parameters. So again, like what I'm doing right now, literally you could like waste an hour or two of your time doing. Just like if you were like working in Ableton and you've got like a MIDI pattern and you're like tweaking the synthesizer for like 2 hours. You're like, oh God, why the hell does it not sound right? You're kind of like wasting time. You're kind of not, because you're like learning. So like I'm like, okay, this looks more organic. Okay, I like that. So what can we do here? Right? Like I should be working on this terrain a little bit better. I don't like that it's all blue. I mean, that's not bad, you know, because it's like different shades of blue, but it's just crazy because like it just takes so much time. Now I'm playing with like the glossiness and metallicness of the faraway landscape, trying to see like, does it look better in a different color? I haven't even put a bump map on it yet. And so you'll just do these things because if something bounces off the screen and you're like, ooh, I like it, like that weird red color, that burgundy red color, I don't even know why, well, that's a good thing. Like something's coming through you. And I think this is okay, so now we're going into Final Cut Pro, and now I'm like working with like just art stuff, you know. So like this is an image, by the way, this is like within a mile of where I live, and I've already added some things to it, you know, like colors, and this is what it looks like normally. And so I'm just like doing like art compositing art stuff, like after you already have the images. Yeah, that's what it looks like normally. After you already have the images, well, you can do color blending. So like, why does it look this way? Or why did I, so right, see how it's changing? Well, why does it like look this way? Oh, that was an AI generated aliens that I really liked. So now I'm like searching for basically, that's actually like my room upstairs. That's my music, like let's make some music in the music studio. Now I'm trying to see where the, for thermal clipping or whatever the hell. Here's another one that only looks that way because I like manipulated the colors. That's like a regular day at like 1 o'clock, staring out into this field with the power lines in the back. I like that shit. That's what it looks like normally. That's like basically my backyard of the area I live. So I'm like playing with the colors, or playing with the hue specifically. Now I put the color strip back. It's not a color strip in that it's just like one color. It's like a gradient of colors. And so now I'm playing around with it, and I'm on a subtractive blend mode. So it subtracts the colors from the color strip. Now I'm opening up like a new project file to, you know, do some of this. I actually like went on a walk around my neighborhood and just took pictures of stuff. Do you ever do that? And what's crazy is because like I'm sure a lot of people do that, you know, they take pictures of stuff, but you could also record stuff, you know, like and just like have fun. So that's why like a program like this, like Final Cut Pro, which is a video editor, there's other video editors out there. A lot of them are free, come with your computer. Like have fun. So yes, this was that day I was out. It was like 90 degrees. It was hot as shit. And I was just out there, like, just taking pictures of my neighborhood. So yes, this is my neighborhood. It's not that, like, desolate. It just looks that way. Look at all them photos. Looks like relaxing, doesn't it? Doesn't it look kind of relaxing? So like, I like this one, but like, I don't want it to look how it looks, so I'm adding this like gradient, and I don't want it to be like super light blue and like darker blue. So let's change them. So yeah, if you you would probably never, so no one would ever use Final Cut Pro if they didn't have a Mac, but if you use a Mac, you would use Final Cut Pro to like make videos. It's kind of lame, but it's kind of, okay, so, oh, there we go. Okay, so this was a new one we made. Now, what does this make you think of? A red field, a yellow sky. Dude, the fucking wildfires that are going on everywhere for the last 2 months, it's been like messing with my head. I looked out my window in my bedroom and I looked into the cul-de-sac like 100 yards down the street or whatever, and it was so hazy, and I'm like, shit, man. Like, I get anxiety about not getting a good breath of air. Good breath of air. You know? Like, and then my little dog, his little smush nose, I was like, I feel so bad for the people in Idaho and Spokane, Washington, Maine. I'm playing with the colors up on so. But imagine, you're here, you're in this field. It shouldn't look like this, but it does. Ooh, look at that. I like that. Oh, you know, I like that. You know, and I noticed, it was crazy, I was like playing around with all this shit, and I'm like, why am I making these things? And I was like, you know, it almost kind of seems like I'm making things that might exist in this hypothetical space of like wildfires and the smoke and how smoky it is. I hate that. I hated that shit. It really messed with my head. I was like, where do I go? Is it possible that with these dumb fucking like hazy wildfire smoky fires, like they can seep into my house even when I have the air conditioning on? It like broke my brain for a second, but it was like helpful. Yeah, we gotta stay on subtract mode. Looks kind of beautiful, doesn't it? Does it look like that? Sometimes? Never? I don't know, mate. So we're playing with the blend modes to see like what looks like interesting to me. We've got the gradient, and we are color blending that in with the image, and we want to find something that looks like really good or just like interesting. You know, maybe that was interesting, maybe that was interesting to you. Who the hell knows? And I'm just like clicking through all of these. There's blend modes in Photoshop, Final Cut Pro, like just like everywhere. Any sort of, you know, photo thing. It's crazy because some days you go out and like it really does look like this. Just adjusting the, look at that. Adjusting the x-axis of that photo. Whatever looks good. Oh, you know, real life doesn't look like that. Oh, it doesn't matter. Because all that matters is what looks good. Adjusting the lighting of the highlights, shadows, midtones. Do you know what your highlights, shadows, midtone? Very important. This is like the middle of nowhere, USA. This could be in Nebraska. It could be in Illinois. This could be in Ohio. You don't know. Wisconsin. You don't know. But you've seen shit that looks like this, do you not? And it's not that remarkable. It's the back of like a townhome unit. Townhome. Who cares? This is just somewhere. It's a liminal space, to be honest. In fact, where am I taking that from? Like a walkway, a bike path? You're supposed to keep walking. You're not supposed to look at the townhome. Why not? Are we done? Well, if we are done, guys, I will say thanks for hanging out. Thanks for enjoying this, I guess, SDHO. It's been about 5 months since I've recorded anything. I hope you are doing well. Hope you are surviving. Hope you are thriving. And, at the end of the day, it's not about who you love. It's about what you love and allowing the expressions of energy, of love, of the primordial spirit to go through you and to create through you. And when you are creating, I do believe you are creating, connecting with a higher aspect of yourself. And I just want to say, if you are having a hard time out there, maybe just take some time off to just allow yourself to be, because when you allow yourself to be, then you can be free. And thank you very much. You've been great tonight. We'll talk later.